Think about the modern comfort of leaving. Not arriving. Not the vacation. Not the destination. Just leaving. You close a door. You step into shoes designed for pavement. You carry a bag that was built to sit on wheels, on shoulders, under airplane seats, in car trunks, and beside train seats. You check a map that knows where you are. You check a time that agrees with the station, the airport, the bank, the hotel, and the person waiting for you. You trust that roads continue beyond the corner. You trust that bridges do not simply end in argument. You trust that signs mean something. You trust that a stranger can sell you food without poisoning you by accident. You trust that if night comes before you arrive, there will be light somewhere. You trust that rain will be an inconvenience rather than a full rearrangement of the journey. Modern travel is still stressful. Flights are delayed. Cars break down. Trains are late. Hotels disappoint. Roads close. Luggage disappears. But even our travel problems are cushioned by systems. Tickets. Maps. Hotels. Weather forecasts. Fuel stations. Street lights. Police. Emergency numbers. Public toilets. Restaurants. Road signs. Passports. Reviews. Receipts. Insurance. Charging cables. Before modern comfort, travel was not only movement. It was exposure. To weather. To distance. To hunger. To bad roads. To animals. To strangers. To tolls. To bridges that mattered more than maps. To rivers that did not care about your schedule. To beds that might not be yours. To shoes that might fail. To messages that could not outrun the body carrying them. People traveled, of course. They traveled for trade, pilgrimage, war, marriage, work, law, markets, fairs, diplomacy, exile, service, learning, preaching, begging, and curiosity. The medieval world was not frozen in place. Merchants moved. Pilgrims moved. Messengers moved. Soldiers moved. Craftsmen moved. Students moved. Laborers moved. Nobles moved with households. Kings moved with courts. Poor people moved when need pushed them. But the fact that people traveled does not mean travel was comfortable. It means people were willing to endure discomfort for reasons strong enough to move the body through the world. So tonight, let's look at travel before modern comfort. Not as grand adventure. Not as a romantic road under a painted moon. And not as endless danger. Just the old practical problem of getting from one place to another when the world did not smooth itself for you. The first comfort was knowing where you were going. Modern navigation is so powerful that it has made getting lost feel like a malfunction. Your phone shows a blue dot. It tells you to turn. It estimates arrival. It corrects mistakes. It shows traffic. It names roads you have never heard of. It translates place into instruction. Before modern comfort, navigation lived in memory, landmarks, roads, rivers, stars, local advice, itineraries, bells, church towers, milestones, and some traditions, and the speech of people along the way. A traveler might know the next town but not every turn. They might follow a river. They might follow a ridge. They might follow a known road because enough feet, hooves, wheels, and stories had made it trustworthy. They might ask at an inn, a monastery, a market, a bridge, or a crossroads. But asking is not the same as searching a map. Asking requires language, confidence, safety, trust, and a person willing to answer. Imagine standing at a fork in the road. There is no signal. No glowing line. No satellite overhead quietly forgiving your uncertainty. There is mud, hedge, field, wood, perhaps a track worn by carts, perhaps another track worn by animals, perhaps a distant church tower, perhaps a local person who may know or may enjoy sending strangers the long way. The old traveler does not merely choose a direction. The old traveler chooses a relationship with uncertainty. Modern comfort gives us directions. Before modern comfort, direction was often negotiated. The second comfort was the road itself. A road is not simply a line. It is an agreement that movement is expected here. Modern roads are engineered surfaces with layers, drainage, markings, shoulders, signs, bridges, inspections, maintenance crews, and legal meanings. Even a bad modern road often belongs to a system that admits it is supposed to be repaired. Medieval roads varied enormously. Some routes followed older Roman lines. Some were local tracks. Some were paths between villages. Some crossed estates, commons, forests, marshes, hills, and towns. Some were good enough in dry weather and miserable in rain. Some were better for pack animals than wheeled carts. Some were maintained by local obligation, religious houses, towns, lords, or those with reason to care. Some were neglected until enough people complained, paid, prayed, or suffered. The road changed with the season. Dust in summer. Mud in autumn. Ice in winter. Ruts after carts. Flooding near low ground. Broken surfaces after heavy use. Imagine a cartwheel sinking into a rut. The journey stops being abstract. People push. Animals strain. The driver curses or prays or calculates the remaining daylight. The load shifts. The road is not scenery now. It is an opponent. Modern travel complains about delay. Old travel often fought the surface of the earth. The third comfort was the bridge. A bridge is one of the most underappreciated comforts in the world. It turns a river from a decision into a crossing. Modern people use bridges so casually that they become traffic points. Too busy. Too narrow. Under repair. A better route is needed. Before modern comfort, a bridge could change the geography of life. It could connect markets, shorten journeys, make carts possible, help pilgrims, carry animals, allow officials, armies, merchants, and villagers to pass with less risk. Medieval bridge building could require large labor, money, technical skill, stone, timber, maintenance, and often charity or tolls. Some bridges were modest. Some were major achievements. Some had chapels or religious associations because crossing safely could feel like mercy as much as engineering. The bridge did not only solve water. It solved fear. Imagine reaching a river after a long day. Without a bridge, the questions multiply. Is there a ford? Is the water low enough? Can the horse cross? Can the cart cross? Will the goods stay dry? Is there a ferryman? Can he be trusted? Will the weather rise overnight? With a bridge, the body relaxes before the crossing is even complete. Stone underfoot says someone before you cared enough to make this easier. Modern comfort hides that relief in concrete. Before modern comfort, every bridge was a little victory over geography. The fourth comfort was the ford. Where there was no bridge, a ford could be knowledge made into a place. A ford is not simply shallow water. It is a spot where people have learned that crossing may be possible. Possible is the key word. Weather changes a ford. Season changes it. Rain upstream changes it. The load changes it. The animal changes it. The courage of the traveler changes it. Modern bridges let us forget how much rivers think for themselves. Before modern comfort, water decided many routes. Imagine standing at a ford. The water moves brown or clear depending on rain and ground. Stones may be slick. The bank may be churned by hooves. A person watches the current and tries to read depth from surface. The pack must be lifted higher. Shoes may come off. A horse may hesitate. A cart may need help. The traveler knows that getting wet is not only discomfort. Wet clothes can become cold. Wet food can spoil. Wet documents can be ruined. Wet feet can suffer for days. A modern delay may cost money. An old crossing mistake could cost the journey. The fifth comfort was the ferry. A ferry is a bridge with a human schedule. It can be safer than a Ford, but it creates dependence. Is the ferryman there? Is the boat sound? Is the price fair? Can animals board? Can goods be carried? Is the river too high? Is it too dark? Will the ferryman cross for a stranger? Modern ferries still exist, but they usually run inside timetables, tickets, inspections, engines, lights, and official terminals. An older ferry could feel more personal. The traveler does not only meet a vehicle. The traveler meets a person controlling passage. That person may be helpful, greedy, tired, honest, drunk, skilled, or absent. Imagine arriving at dusk. The opposite bank is visible but unreachable without help. Smoke rises from buildings across the water. You can see where you need to go. Seeing is almost worse because the distance is small and impossible. The boat is tied up. The ferryman is somewhere. The price must be settled. The animal must be persuaded. The river moves under every conversation. Before modern comfort, a short distance across water could become a long negotiation. The sixth comfort was the horse. A horse is not a car. That seems obvious, but modern imagination often turns horses into romantic vehicles. A horse is alive. It gets tired. It eats. It drinks. It fears. It injures. It needs shoes, grooming, rest, and care. It can be valuable enough to attract theft. It can be too expensive for many travelers. It can speed the body, but it brings its own demands. For some medieval travelers, riding was status and practicality together. For others, walking was the only realistic option. Pack horses and mules carried goods where wheeled carts struggled. Horses pulled carts or carriages in some contexts, but roads and costs shaped what was possible. Modern engines do not need hay at night. They need fuel, maintenance, and roads, but they do not panic at a shadow or go lame because of a stone. Imagine traveling with a horse. The animal's body becomes part of your schedule. Where is water? Where is feed? How far can it go today? Is the shoe secure? Is the saddle rubbing? Can it cross this bridge? Can it manage this mud? If the horse fails, the traveler becomes slower, poorer, or stranded. Before modern comfort, transportation had a heartbeat. The seventh comfort was walking. Walking is the oldest travel technology. It is also the one modern comfort most underestimates. A modern person may walk for exercise, pleasure, commuting, or necessity, but long-distance walking is no longer the default for many. Before modern comfort, countless journeys began with feet. To market. To church. To court. To work. To a fair. To a shrine. To another village. To seek service. To flee trouble. Walking makes distance honest. Every mile has weight. Shoes matter. Weather matters. Blisters matter. The slope matters. The load matters. The body becomes the measure of the map. Imagine a traveler with a bundle and staff. The first hour may feel strong. The second becomes rhythm. By afternoon, the road has entered the feet. The shoulders know the pack. The mind begins counting landmarks. A church tower is not picturesque. It is proof that settlement exists ahead. Modern comfort turns distance into minutes. Before modern comfort, distance was often pain distributed over time. The eighth comfort was the shoe. Every journey begins at the foot. Modern shoes are engineered and replaceable. Soles absorb shock. Sizes are standardized. Materials resist water. Special shoes exist for hiking, running, rain, work, snow, and walking around airports. Before modern comfort, footwear was valuable, reparable, and deeply connected to class and occupation. Leather shoes could be patched, resoled, greased, dried, and worn until their failure affected the whole body. Poor footwear changed the road. Mud enters. Cold enters. Stones bruise. Wet seams rub. Blisters open. The traveler slows. Imagine putting on shoes before a long walk. You know where they pinch. You know which seam is weak. You know whether rain will make them worse. You know that losing them is more than inconvenience. It is exposure. Modern luggage may break and ruin a trip. Old shoes could break and ruin the traveler. Before modern comfort, the foot was the first vehicle and the shoe was its shelter. The ninth comfort was the pack. Modern bags are designed by people who understand zippers, straps, wheels, waterproofing, compartments, and airport rules. Before modern comfort, a traveler carried what could be carried by the body. Animal, cart, or boat. Bundles, sacks, baskets, leather bags, wooden chests, pack frames, wallets, purses, and cloth wrappings all had to answer the same questions. What is worth its weight? What must stay dry? What must stay close to the body? What can be lost? What can be bought on the road? What cannot be replaced? Packing in the old world was not about convenience. It was risk management. Too much weight slows travel. Too little preparation increases danger. Carry food, but food weighs. Carry money, but money attracts theft. Carry clothes, but cloth becomes heavy when wet. Carry tools, but tools burden the shoulders. Imagine a pilgrim or merchant preparing a bundle. The hand hesitates over every object. A modern traveler worries about forgetting a charger. An older traveler worries about the difference between burden and survival. Before modern comfort, packing was a negotiation with the body's limits. The 10th comfort was the cloak. A cloak is weather, blanket, privacy, status, and storage in one object. Modern clothing is specialized. Raincoat, sweater, blanket, sleeping bag, scarf, suit jacket, backpack. Before modern comfort, one good garment could do many jobs. A cloak could shed some rain, hold warmth, wrap around a sleeping body, hide a purse, mark identity, and make a roadside pause less miserable. But it could also become wet, heavy, smoky, muddy, and difficult to dry. Imagine a cold rain beginning on a road. The cloak is pulled tighter. At first it helps. Then the outer surface darkens. Water gathers at the edges. The weight grows. The garment that protected you becomes a burden you still need. Modern waterproof materials aim to separate protection from weight. Before modern comfort, protection often came soaked in its own consequences. The 11th comfort was food on the road. Modern travelers buy snacks without thinking much about the old problem of portable calories. Gas stations, train kiosks, airport sandwiches, packaged bars, restaurants, delivery. Before modern comfort, travel food had to survive movement and delay. Bread, cheese, dried meat, salted fish, nuts, onions, apples in season, hard biscuits or rusks in some contexts, ale or wine where appropriate. Food bought from inns, markets, monasteries, or households along the route. The old question was not what sounds nice. It was what can be carried, eaten without a full kitchen, and trusted after hours on the road. Imagine eating beside a road. No table. No napkin wrapped around plastic cutlery. Bread in the hand. Cheese cut with a knife. Dust nearby. Maybe water, ale, or wine. Maybe an animal pulling at grass. The meal is not leisure. It is fuel for the next stretch. Modern comfort turns travel food into choice. Before modern comfort, food on the road was endurance, made edible. The 12th comfort was water away from home. At home, water may be hard enough. On the road, water becomes uncertainty. Modern travelers buy bottles, refill at fountains, use filters, trust restaurants, and consult maps. Before modern comfort, the traveler needed wells, springs, streams, rivers, inns, monasteries, villages, fountains, or the kindness of strangers. But not all water was equally trustworthy. A stream near animals is not the same as a spring. A well in a busy place may have its own problems. A dry stretch changes the value of every vessel. Thirst also affects animals. If the horse or mule cannot drink, the journey changes. Imagine a hot day. The traveler sees water ahead. Relief comes first. Then judgment. Is it clean enough? Can the animal reach it? Is someone else using it? Is it allowed? Will the next water be far? Modern comfort gives the bottle a label. Before modern comfort, water away from home had to be read from landscape and trust. The 13th comfort was the inn. The modern hotel room is a standardized promise. Bed, door, lock, bathroom, light, towels, checkout time. Maybe a bad pillow, but still a recognizable system. Medieval inns, taverns, hostels, monasteries, hospitals, goose houses, barns, and private hospitality offered much more varied shelter. An inn could be welcome, noisy, expensive, crowded, useful, dirty, lively, dangerous, or simply better than outside. It might offer food, drink, a place for animals, a bed, a bench, a floor, a shared room, or a place near the fire. The old inn did not necessarily promise privacy. It promised presence. People are expected to stop here. That alone is comfort. Imagine arriving after dark. Your feet hurt. Your clothes hold road dust. Your stomach is sharp with hunger. The building is lit. Voices come through the door. Smoke leaks from inside. You may not like what you find, but the sight of shelter changes the body. Before modern comfort, the inn was not a brand. It was a pause in exposure. The 14th comfort was the shared bed. Modern travelers usually expect a bed that belongs to them, or at least to the people they chose. Older travel could be different. Beds were valuable. Space was limited. Inns could be crowded. Travelers might share rooms, benches, floors, or beds with strangers depending on money, status, place, and circumstance. This is one of the hardest comforts for modern people to imagine. The bed is supposed to be private. The old travel bed might simply be horizontal space under a roof. Imagine lying down beside someone you met that day. The room is not silent. Someone coughs. Someone turns. Someone smells of horse, rain, smoke, and road. Your purse is close to your body. Your shoes are near enough to reach. Sleep comes, but part of the mind stays watchful. Modern comfort sells private surrender. Before modern comfort, travel sleep was often negotiated vulnerability. The 15th comfort was the monastery gate. Not every traveler could pay for an inn. Religious houses and hospitals could offer shelter, food, or aid to pilgrims, poor travelers, the sick, and strangers in many medieval contexts. The word hospital itself connects to hospitality, host, and guest. Medieval hospitals were not simply modern medical buildings. Many were charitable institutions offering shelter, care, food, and spiritual support. This matters because travel was not only commercial. It was moral. A stranger at the door raised questions of charity, religion, obligation, fear, and status. Imagine a poor pilgrim reaching a religious house. The gate is not a hotel lobby. There may be rules. There may be limits. Perhaps only one night. Perhaps food. Perhaps a bed in a common space. Perhaps prayers. But to a tired body, even limited hospitality can feel enormous. Modern comfort often buys shelter. Before modern comfort, shelter might also be asked for as mercy. The 16th comfort was the bridge toll. Comfort often has a price. Bridges, roads, ferries, markets, town gates, and protected routes could all involve payments, rights, obligations, or tolls depending on place and period. A toll is annoying, but it also reveals infrastructure. Someone built. Someone maintains. Someone claims authority. Someone profits. Someone guards passage. To the traveler, a toll may feel like unfairness. To the bridge keeper, it may be the reason the bridge survives. To the lord or town, it may be income. To the poor traveler, it may be a barrier. Imagine approaching a bridge with animals and goods. The crossing is not only physical. It is legal and economic. Who has the right to pass? At what price? With what load? Under whose eyes? Modern highways have tolls too, but the transaction is softened by cards, tags, lanes, and posted rules. Before modern comfort, payment could be more personal and more tense. The 17th comfort was the town gate. A town gate is a doorway with politics. Modern cities usually blur their edges into suburbs, highways, and signs. Medieval towns could have walls, gates, customs, watchmen, market rules, closing hours, and local control. Entering a town meant entering another order. Better chance of food. Better chance of shelter. More people. More theft. More rules. More opportunity. The gate could protect and restrict. For a traveler, arriving before a gate closed could matter deeply. Imagine seeing a town wall as evening falls. Relief rises because walls mean people. Food, perhaps a bed. Then worry follows. Will the gates still be open? Will strangers be questioned? Can animals enter? Is there money for lodging? Modern arrivals are scheduled through stations and check-in desks. Before modern comfort, arrival could be a race against the gate. The 18th comfort was the market day. Travel was often tied to time. People did not move randomly. They moved because the market happened on a day, the fair opened in a season, the court sat at a time, the saints' feast drew pilgrims, the harvest required labor, or a ship arrived. Modern commerce is continuous. Online stores do not sleep. Supermarkets open daily. Schedules are broad. Before modern comfort, timing could decide whether a journey was useful. Arrive after market, and the food is gone. Arrive too early, and the sellers are not there. Arrive after the fair, and the opportunity has moved on. Imagine walking toward a market town at dawn. Other people are moving too. Carts, animals, baskets, bundles, goods. The road becomes social because the calendar has summoned everyone. Modern travel is individualized. Old travel often gathered around shared days. The 19th comfort was traveling in company. The lonely road is romantic in stories and frightening in practice. Traveling with others could offer safety, help, conversation, shared knowledge, and witnesses. Pilgrims might travel together. Merchants might move with servants or guards. Nobles traveled with households. Messengers might ride alone when speed mattered, but that brought risk. Poor travelers might attach themselves to groups when possible. Company changed the journey. Someone can watch while another sleeps. Someone can help with a stuck cart. Someone knows a route. Someone speaks the local language or dialect better. Someone can testify if trouble occurs. But company also creates problems. Slower members. Arguments. Shared costs. Different fears. Different hunger. Different pace. Imagine a small group on a road. The rhythm is not yours alone. You stop because another person needs to stop. You continue because the group wants daylight. You trust the group's judgment even when your feet disagree. Modern comfort gives solo travelers systems. Before modern comfort, other people were often the system. The 20th comfort was avoiding the wrong road. A road is not only surface. It is reputation. Some roads were known to be difficult, flooded, unsafe, lonely, poorly maintained, or controlled by people who took advantage of travelers. Some routes had better inns. Some had better bridges. Some had more markets. Some passed through hostile territory or difficult lordship. Modern maps rank roads by speed. Old travelers often ranked roads by survival, safety, cost, familiarity, and season. The fastest route was not always the best. The shorter route may cross bad ground. The easier route may require a toll. The safer route may be longer. The better road may be crowded. Imagine choosing between a forest track and a longer road through villages. The forest saves time if nothing goes wrong. The villages offer help if something does. Modern navigation often optimizes minutes. Before modern comfort, good navigation optimized risk. The 21st comfort was the guide. A local guide can turn unknown land into usable land. Modern guides are apps, signs, maps, agencies, reviews, and sometimes hired experts. Older travelers might hire guides, follow locals, ask shepherds, trust boatmen, rely on merchants, or use written itineraries where available. A guide knew paths, water, ferries, weather, dialects, dangers, and customs. But a guide also had power. They could overcharge. They could mislead. They could abandon. They could save. Imagine crossing mountains, marshes, forests, or unfamiliar cities with a person who claims to know the way. Your trust leaves your own eyes and enters another person's memory. This is both comfort and danger. Modern GPS makes the guide invisible. Before modern comfort, local knowledge often had a face and a price. The 22nd comfort was carrying money. Modern payment travels in cards, phones, banks, and electronic systems. Before modern comfort, money could be coins, credit, letters, obligations, barter, tallies, or goods themselves. Coins were portable, but they were also stealable. Heavy sums were heavy. Different regions might use different coinage. Exchange could be uncertain. Credit required reputation. A traveler needed enough money for food, lodging, tolls, ferries, repairs, fodder, emergencies, and return. But carrying enough made theft more tempting. Imagine counting coins in a corner of an inn. The sound itself is dangerous. Metal speaks. Someone nearby may listen. The purse is tied close after counting. Modern wallets can be replaced in bureaucratic ways, though painfully. Old travel money, once gone, could leave the body stranded. Before modern comfort, a purse was not an accessory. It was distance stored in metal. The 23rd comfort was the document. Travel often required proof. Letters of introduction. Safe conducts. Pilgrim badges. Trade documents. Legal summons. Permissions. Seals. Messages entrusted to the traveler. Modern people travel with passports, tickets, IDs, bookings, QR codes, visas, insurance, and digital confirmations. Older documents could be fewer, but they mattered. A seal might speak where the traveler could not. A letter might open a door. A badge from a shrine might declare purpose. A written order might justify movement. But documents are fragile. They tear. They get wet. They can be stolen. They can be doubted. They can be unreadable to the wrong person. Imagine carrying a letter through rain. The paper or parchment is not only information. It is authority folded into a vulnerable object. Modern travel documents are laminated, scanned, copied, and stored in databases. Before modern comfort, proof could be ruined by weather. The 24th comfort was the messenger. Today, a message outruns the body. You can tell someone you are late while being late. You can send money while sitting still. You can cancel a journey because information arrived first. Before modern communication, the messenger was the message in motion. A letter had to be carried by someone. News had to move by mouth, rider, ship, merchant, pilgrim, official, or rumor. This made travel essential to information. The body crossing space carried the mind of someone who stayed home. Imagine being entrusted with a message. You are not only traveling. You are holding another person's intention. If you are delayed, the message is delayed. If you are robbed, the message may be lost. If you die, the message may never arrive. Modern comfort separates communication from movement. Before modern comfort, information had feet. The 25th comfort was the weather forecast. Modern people can know a storm before seeing clouds. Not perfectly, but enough to change plans. Before modern comfort, travelers read weather through sky, wind, season, local advice, animal behavior, experience, and luck. Weather was not background. It decided roads, rivers, clothing, food, animals, health, lodging, and pace. Rain could make roads mud. Snow could hide paths. Fog could confuse direction. Wind could halt boats. Heat could spoil food and exhaust animals. Cold could make wet clothing dangerous. Imagine waking in an inn and listening before rising. Rain on roof. Wind at shutters. Voices downstairs discussing roads. The traveler must decide whether to leave or lose a day. Modern travelers check an app. Old travelers check the world itself. The 26th comfort was the season. A journey in summer is not a journey in winter. Modern transport reduces seasonal difference but does not erase it. Before modern comfort, seasons shaped everything. Summer offered longer daylight but heat, dust, insects, and spoilage. Autumn offered harvest movement but mud and weather. Winter offered frozen ground at times but cold, short days, ice, danger, and limited shelter. Spring offered thaw, flooding, mud, and renewed movement. Pilgrimage, trade, war, farming, fairs, and legal business all had seasonal rhythms. Imagine planning travel in late autumn. The days shorten. Roads soften. Rivers rise. The body worries about wet cold more than simple distance. Modern travel sells all-season mobility. Before modern comfort, the calendar was part of the road's surface. The 27th comfort was daylight. Modern travel can continue after dark because lights, signs, engines, reflective paint, hotels, stations, phones, and emergency systems extend the day. Before abundant artificial light, darkness ended many kinds of movement, or made them riskier. Night travel existed, but it was not casual for most. Darkness hid holes, thieves, animals, river edges, wrong turns, and bad footing. It made fear louder. It made shelter more urgent. Imagine the afternoon slipping toward evening. The traveler counts distance differently now. Can we reach the next village? Can we cross before dark? Is there shelter nearby? Should we stop early? The sun becomes a clock with consequences. Modern comfort lets the traveler negotiate with time. Before modern comfort, daylight often gave orders. The 28th comfort was the fire at the stop. When travelers stopped, warmth mattered. An inn fire, monastery hearth, campfire, kitchen hearth, or borrowed warmth could change a night. Modern travelers expect heated rooms. Even cheap lodging often separates warmth from labor. Before modern comfort, heat required fuel, permission, space, and safety. At a stop, wet clothing could be dried. Hands warmed. Food cooked. Stories exchanged. Animals tended nearby. But fire also meant smoke, crowding, cost, and risk. Imagine entering a smoky-in room after rain. The air stings, but the warmth is welcome. Wet cloaks hang. Boots steam. People move closer than modern comfort prefers because heat is local. The fire is not decoration. It is the center of recovery. Before modern comfort, a warm stop could feel like being returned briefly to the human world. The 29th comfort was the stable. Modern travel cares for machines at garages, stations, chargers, and fuel pumps. Older travel cared for animals. A stable could be as important as a bed. The traveler with a horse needed fodder, water, shelter, grooming, security, and perhaps a farrier. An inn that could not care for the animal could not fully care for the traveler. The horse was transportation, money, status, and future movement. Imagine arriving with a tired animal. You may be hungry, but the horse must be handled. Saddle loosened. Back checked. Hooves noticed. Water given carefully. Feed found. Modern cars wait in parking lots without breathing. Before modern comfort, transportation had to be put to bed. The 30th comfort was the farrier. A horse's hoof can decide a journey. Modern drivers worry about tires. Old riders worried about shoes, hooves, lameness, stones, mud, and the skill of people who handled iron and animals. The farrier, smith, or local horse specialist could be vital. If a shoe was lost, the route changed. If a horse went lame, the journey slowed or stopped. If there was no one nearby with skill, the traveler was trapped by biology. Imagine hearing the uneven step of a horse. At first it may be subtle, then impossible to ignore. The animal's pain becomes your delay. Modern comfort gives spare tires, roadside assistance, repair shops, and rental cars. Before modern comfort, a single hoof could hold the whole road hostage. The 31st comfort was the cart. A cart allows weight to move farther than backs alone. But a cart requires roads wide and firm enough, animals strong enough, wheels sound enough, axles greased enough, and bridges suitable enough. Pack animals can go where carts cannot. Carts can carry what pack animals cannot carry efficiently. This choice shaped trade and travel. Modern people rarely think about whether a road is cart road or footpath. Older travelers had to know. Imagine a cart on a narrow, muddy track. The wheels sink. The load leans. The animal strains. The driver weighs whether to unload, push, turn back, or risk damage. The cart is comfort when the road accepts it. It is punishment when the road refuses. Before modern comfort, vehicle and surface had to agree. The 32nd comfort was the boat. Water can block travel, but it can also make travel easier. Rivers, coasts, canals in some places, and sea routes could carry heavy goods more efficiently than roads. Boats moved grain, wine, salt, timber, stone, fish, wool, people, and news. But water travel had its own discomforts. Wind, current, storm, seasickness, shipwreck, delays, crowding, wet cargo, ports, fees, piracy or violence in some contexts. Imagine a merchant choosing between road and river. The river may be faster for cargo, but only if conditions allow. The road may be slower but more predictable in another season. Modern logistics hides these calculations behind tracking numbers. Before modern comfort, each route was a bargain with a different element. The 33rd comfort was the port. A port is a city of arrival and uncertainty. Modern ports use cranes, schedules, customs, containers, paperwork, refrigeration, lights, and enormous machinery. Older ports were still places where land and water translated each other. Goods came off ships into warehouses, carts, backs, boats, markets, and accounts. Travelers arrived with salt on clothing, fear in the stomach, or relief in the legs. Ports were lively, risky, multilingual, regulated, smelly, and full of opportunity. Imagine stepping onto a quay after a rough crossing. The ground is steady, but the body still remembers motion. Voices overlap in languages or accents. Goods are counted. Officials, porters, sailors, merchants, thieves, innkeepers, and servants all wait for what arrival brings. Modern comfort makes the port an infrastructure. Before modern comfort, the port was a living throat between worlds. The 34th comfort was the pilgrimage route. Pilgrimage made travel meaningful beyond business. A pilgrim might move toward a shrine for devotion, penance, healing, gratitude, vow, curiosity, community, or hope. Routes to major shrines could develop networks of inns, hospitals, churches, bridges, ferries, guides, badges, and stories. This did not make pilgrimage comfortable. It made discomfort interpretable. A sore foot could become part of devotion. A dangerous road could become a test. A shared hardship could become spiritual memory. Imagine a pilgrim road. People move with packs, staffs, badges, prayers, jokes, fears, and rumors of miracles. The road is still mud and distance. But it also has meaning. Modern travel often sells experience. Pilgrimage turned travel itself into religious action. Before modern comfort, meaning could help people endure what comfort could not remove. The 35th comfort was the badge. A pilgrim badge is a small object with a large message. It could show that a person had visited or was connected to a shrine. It could become souvenir, proof, blessing, identity, or memory. Modern travelers carry tickets, wristbands, passport stamps, hotel key cards, luggage tags, and photos. The badge belongs to the old need to make travel visible. I went there. I belong to this journey. I can tell a story about distance. Imagine a small metal badge sewn or pinned to clothing. It catches light. It speaks before the traveler explains. It may help invite hospitality or recognition. It may become a keepsake of hardship made sacred. Modern comfort records movement digitally. Before modern comfort, movement often needed a physical sign. The 36th comfort was language. Travel changes speech. The farther one moves, the more words can become uncertain. Dialects shift. Languages change. Weights and measures differ. Customs differ. Law differs. Coins differ. Modern travelers use translation apps, phrasebooks, global signs, and standardized systems. Before modern comfort, misunderstanding could be expensive or dangerous. A traveler might rely on guides, merchants, clergy, interpreters, gestures, Latin in learned or church contexts, or the shared vocabulary of trade. But most travel speech was practical. Food, water, lodging, price, road, bridge, danger, animal, tomorrow. Imagine asking for the way in a place where your words sound strange. The person answering may understand enough. Or not. The traveler learns to listen beyond language. Pointing, tone, landmarks, numbers, hands drawing shapes in air. Before modern comfort, travel often began when speech stopped being easy. The 37th comfort was law on the road. Modern travelers assume that laws follow them in recognizable ways. If robbed, call police. If injured, call emergency services. If cheated, complain, sue, review, dispute the charge. Before modern comfort, legal protection varied by place, status, lordship, town, road, and identity. A traveler might be more vulnerable away from home because local relationships no longer protected them. Safe conducts, letters, patrons, guild ties, religious status, noble rank, and traveling companions could help. But the road always weakened the shield of familiar community. Imagine being cheated in a town where no one knows you. Who will believe you? Who has authority? Can you stay long enough to pursue justice? Will the cost exceed the loss? Modern comfort makes complaint portable. Before modern comfort, justice often had a local address. The 38th comfort was fear of theft. Theft is not unique to old travel, but older travel made belongings more physical and more vulnerable. A purse tied at the belt. A bundle. A horse. A cloak. Documents. Food. Tools. Goods for sale. The traveler carries value where strangers can see need. Inns, markets, roads, ferries, and crowds all create opportunity. Imagine sleeping in a shared room with your purse under your clothing. You hear movement. Perhaps it is only another traveler turning over. Perhaps not. Modern hotels have locks, safes, cameras, staff, insurance, and reviews. Old travel had watchfulness, reputation, company, hiding places, and luck. Before modern comfort, sleep on the road was also property management. The 39th comfort was fear of violence. Medieval travel was not constant attack, but violence was a real concern. Robbery, feuds, war, local unrest, soldiers, private disputes, bandits, and simple human aggression could shape routes and behavior. People traveled anyway because life required it. Fear did not stop movement. It made movement strategic. Travel in company. Avoid certain roads. Arrive before dark. Carry less openly. Seek lodging in known places. Use letters or protection. Ask locals. Imagine a stretch of empty road through woodland. The trees are not evil. They are simply places where visibility ends. The traveler listens differently. Hooves behind. Voices ahead. A branch. A bird. Silence. Modern comfort has not removed danger, but it has filled travel with systems of response. Before modern comfort, response often had to be immediate and personal. The 40th comfort was not being sick on the road. Illness during travel is still miserable today. But a modern traveler may find pharmacies, clinics, hotels, bottled water, toilets, transport, and communication. Before modern comfort, sickness on the road could become a crisis quickly. Fever, diarrhea, toothache, injury, blisters, animal accident, bad food, exhaustion. A simple illness becomes harder when the bed is strange, water uncertain, money limited, and companions impatient. Medieval hospitals and religious houses could provide aid in some places, but access was uneven. Imagine a traveler with fever in an inn. The room is noisy. The bedding may be shared or suspect. The journey cannot continue, but staying costs money. The body that was supposed to carry the traveler has become the obstacle. Modern comfort turns illness into service seeking. Before modern comfort, illness on the road could turn the traveler into a burden. The 41st comfort was the public toilet that did not exist. Modern travel depends on toilets. Stations, airports, restaurants, gas stations, trains, planes, rest stops, hotels, and public facilities all make movement more manageable. Before modern comfort, bodily needs had to be handled through fields, woods, privies, inns, chamber pots, yards, riverbanks, or whatever local arrangements existed. This shaped travel more than polite history admits. Where can one relieve the body? Is there privacy? Is it safe? What about women travelers? What about illness? What about night? What about crowded roads or towns? Imagine being on a long road with no private place and no modern facility. The body becomes practical without asking permission from dignity. Modern comfort hides this issue behind signs and doors. Before modern comfort, the traveler carried the body in a world not designed to flatter it. The 42nd comfort was washing on the road. Travel dirt is different from household dirt. Dust, mud, sweat, animal smell, smoke from inns, road food on hands, wet socks or hose, bedbugs or fleas from lodging. Modern travelers shower at hotels, wash in restrooms, use wipes, change clothes, launder at machines, and buy replacements. Older travelers washed where they could. At wells, in rivers, with basins at inns, in bathhouses, at religious houses, with a cloth and limited water. Imagine washing feet after a day of walking. The water clouds quickly. The skin is sore. The relief is immediate. The traveler knows that clean feet are not luxury. They are tomorrow's movement. Before modern comfort, road cleanliness was maintenance of the vehicle, and the vehicle was the body. The 43rd comfort was waiting. Modern travel tries to make waiting tolerable. Seats, screens, announcements, cafes, bathrooms, chargers, apps. Before modern comfort, waiting could be raw. Waiting for a ferry. Waiting for weather. Waiting for a gate to open. Waiting for a horse to recover. Waiting for a guide. Waiting for a road to dry. Waiting for a market day. Waiting for a companion. Waiting for news. Waiting in the old world did not always come with comfort. It could mean standing in cold, sitting on packs, guarding goods, watching animals, or spending money one did not want to spend. Imagine waiting beside a river after rain. The water is too high. Everyone knows crossing would be foolish. So the journey stops, not because the traveler decided to rest, but because the world refused passage. Modern comfort makes delay an exception. Before modern comfort, delay was one of travel's native languages. The 44th comfort was the timetable. Modern transportation runs on shared time. Departure boards, reservations, connections, check-in windows, bus schedules, train timetables. Before modern comfort, much movement was less exact. A messenger may leave at dawn. A cart may depart when loaded. A boat may wait for wind or tide. A fair begins on known days. A market happens on a cycle. A group leaves when ready enough. Time existed, but not always as a minute-by-minute contract. This could be freeing in some ways and maddening in others. Imagine planning a river journey. The boat exists. The destination exists. But wind, water, cargo, and people decide the moment. Modern frustration often comes when machines fail to obey the schedule. Older frustration often came because the schedule was never fully in human hands. The 45th comfort was luggage staying with you. Modern travelers complain about lost luggage, but luggage systems exist precisely because bags now move through institutions. Before modern comfort, possessions often stayed physically closer. You watched the bundle. You tied it to the pack animal. You slept near it. You carried valuables under clothing. This gave control but also burden. Your belongings slowed you. They marked you. They needed guarding every time you stopped. Imagine entering a crowded inn with goods. You cannot simply relax because your property has not entered a secure back office. It is still there. Beside you. On the animal. Near the door. Under someone's eye. Modern comfort separates traveler from burden through checked bags, cargo holds, delivery services, and storage lockers. Before modern comfort, luggage was responsibility with weight. The 46th comfort was the return journey. Every outward journey has a shadow. How do you get back? Modern people book round trips, return tickets, rental cars, or one-way travel with confidence that systems continue. Before modern comfort, returning could be as uncertain as leaving. Money may be lower. Goods may be heavier or gone. Weather may change. Companions may separate. The animal may be tired. Roads may worsen. News at home may have changed. The traveler may be sick. Imagine arriving at a shrine, fair, court, or market and feeling the achievement. Then the road home remains. The journey is only half solved. Modern comfort often makes arrival feel final. Before modern comfort, arrival still owed the road a return. The 47th comfort was being expected. One of the deepest comforts in travel is knowing someone expects you. A host. A family member. A monastery. An innkeeper. A merchant contact. A lord's household. A guild connection. Modern travel uses reservations to create expectation. Your name is in a system. Your room is held. Your seat is assigned. Before modern comfort, expectation was more personal. A letter sent ahead. A known route. A patron. A family connection. A religious obligation to receive guests. Arriving as an unknown stranger was different from arriving as someone expected. Imagine reaching a house where your name is known. The road's uncertainty softens. Food may appear. A bed may be found. Advice may be offered for the next stage. Modern bookings mechanize this comfort. Before modern comfort, expectation lived in relationships. The 48th comfort was the road story. Travel creates stories because discomfort needs meaning. The bad inn. The flooded river. The generous stranger. The dangerous wood. The horse that went lame. The bridge that saved a day. The market that disappointed. The shrine that moved the heart. The food that made everyone sick. Modern travelers turn inconvenience into reviews, photos, messages, and complaints. Older travelers turned it into memory, warning, boast, prayer, joke, or written account if they had the tools and audience. Stories made travel useful beyond the traveler. They told others which road to take, which inn to avoid, which ferryman cheated, which bridge was broken, which town was generous, which route was dangerous in rain. Before modern comfort, information often traveled a story because story was portable. The 49th comfort was homecoming. Modern homecoming may be soft. Your own shower. Your own bed. Your own kitchen. Laundry machines. Familiar locks. A phone recharging beside familiar furniture. Before modern comfort, homecoming also mattered because home held known discomforts rather than unknown ones. The water source is known. The bed is known. The hearth is known. The neighbors are known. The animals are known. The dangers are known. Known hardship can feel like comfort after the road. Imagine returning with dirty clothes, tired feet, news, goods, or a pilgrim badge. The house is not modern luxury. But it is yours, or at least familiar. The floor remembers you. The people know your name. The fire belongs to the household. Before modern comfort, home was not perfect shelter. It was the place where uncertainty became local again. The 50th comfort was the modern seat. This may sound small, but travel is full of sitting now. Car seats. Train seats. Airplane seats. Bus seats. Station seats. Waiting room chairs. Benches. Seat belts. Cushions. Headrests. Before modern comfort, the body often traveled standing, walking, riding, balancing, or sitting on hard surfaces. A saddle is not a car seat. A cart bench is not suspension. A boat plank is not upholstery. A roadside stone is not a waiting lounge. The body absorbed movement directly. Imagine a long cart ride. The wheels strike ruts. The body jolts. The back tightens. The hands brace. The traveler may be moving faster than walking, but not necessarily resting. Modern comfort confuses movement with sitting still. Before modern comfort, travel often meant the body was active even when not walking. The 51st comfort was suspension. Modern vehicles protect the body from the road. Tires. Springs. Shock absorbers. Padded seats. Smooth surfaces. Before modern comfort, a vehicle transmitted the road more honestly. Every rut speaks. Every stone reports upward. Every hole enters the spine. Elite carriages developed comforts over time, but for much medieval travel, wheeled transport could be rough and limited by road quality. Pack animals and riding might be preferable in many situations. Imagine choosing to ride rather than take a cart because the road is too bad. Modern people choose seats by comfort class. Older travelers chose modes by what the road would permit the body and goods to survive. The 52nd comfort was speed without exhaustion. Modern speed is one of our most unnatural comforts. A person can cross distances in hours that once required days, weeks, or months, and arrive physically tired but not foot destroyed. Before modern comfort, speed usually had a cost. A fast messenger needed horses, relays, roads, food, authority, and endurance. A merchant could move faster by water in some cases, but only with the right route. A person walking fast paid with feet. A horse pushed too hard might fail. Speed consumed bodies. Imagine needing news delivered quickly. The message is urgent, but urgency does not flatten hills. It does not dry roads. It does not feed horses. It does not lengthen daylight. Modern communication and engines let urgency outrun bodies. Before modern comfort, urgency often rode on flesh. The 53rd comfort was distance made casual. Modern people may commute farther in a day than some older people traveled often in a year. This does not mean medieval people never traveled far. Many did. But routine distance was different. A trip to the next town could matter. A regional fair could be a major event. A pilgrimage could reshape a life. A journey to court could consume days and money. Distance had social weight. Imagine telling a household you must go 50 miles. This is not a quick errand. It is planning, risk, cost, lodging, food, weather, and time away from work. Modern comfort shrinks distance. Before modern comfort, distance had size in the imagination because it had size in the body. The 54th comfort was not smelling travel. Modern travel has smells, but they are managed. Fuel, air conditioning, coffee, cleaners, perfume, fast food. Older travel smelled stronger. Horse sweat, leather, wet wool, mud, smoke, human sweat, stale bedding, river water, fish markets, animal dung, cook fires. The traveler carried smells and collected new ones. Imagine entering an inn after rain. Every cloak tells the weather. Every shoe tells the road. Every animal tells the stable. The room is an archive of movement. Modern comfort deodorizes travel. Before modern comfort, the road stayed on the body through smell. The 55th comfort was weatherproof information. Modern tickets survive in phones, emails, printed copies, databases, and confirmations. Older travel information could be far more fragile. A letter can get wet. A memory can fail. A local direction can be misunderstood. A guide can vanish. A rumor can be false. A sign may not exist. Imagine a traveler trying to preserve written instructions in rain. The body shelters the paper or parchment. The cloak becomes an office. The hand checks the fold. Modern comfort protects information with copies and networks. Before modern comfort, knowledge could be as vulnerable as bread in a storm. The 56th comfort was not needing courage for small errands. This is the final practical difference. Modern comfort lets small journeys remain small. The grocery store, the clinic, the school, the office, the friend's house, the post office, the next city. Before modern comfort, even a modest journey could require more courage. Weather could change. The road could fail. The animal could stumble. The ferry could be absent. The inn could be full. The stranger could be unkind. The body could tire. The message could be lost. The money could run out. The sun could go down too soon. Imagine stepping out not for adventure, but because something must be done. A debt paid. A witness found. A market reached. A sick relative visited. A job sought. A shrine promised. The old traveler did not need to be heroic to face risk. Ordinary life supplied enough reasons. The 57th comfort was the map that did not belong to everyone. Modern maps are democratic in a way older people would find astonishing. You do not need to be rich, learned, official, or connected to see the shape of the road. You open a screen. The world is drawn for you. Before modern comfort, maps existed, but not as universal pocket tools. Many travelers moved through itineraries, memory, landmarks, verbal directions, local knowledge, and route lists rather than precise overhead maps. Some maps were symbolic, religious, political, decorative, administrative, or made for specific users. They did not all function like modern navigation. This matters because a modern map gives emotional distance before physical distance begins. You can see the whole journey. You can see alternatives. You can estimate time. You can believe the route exists. An older traveler often had to assemble the road in pieces. Town to town. Bridge to bridge. Host to host. Shrine to shrine. Market to market. Imagine knowing the name of the next place but not the full shape between here and there. The journey exists as instructions held in the head. Follow the river until the stone bridge. Turn after the church. Avoid the marsh road if it has rained. Ask at the mill. Stay at the inn with the red sign if there is room. Modern comfort shows the route before the body earns it. Before modern comfort, the route often appeared one witness at a time. The 58th comfort was repair on the road. Modern travel carries repair systems with it. A spare tire. Roadside assistance. Tow trucks. Garages. Mechanics. Replacement parts. Phone calls. Before modern comfort, repair was more immediate and more local. A broken strap. A cracked wheel. A loose shoe on a horse. A torn cloak. A leaking vessel. A damaged pack. A snapped axle. A dull knife. A lost buckle. Each could slow or end a journey. The traveler needed tools, skill, help, money, or access to someone nearby who knew what to do. Imagine a cart with a wheel problem miles from a town. The load must be guarded. The animal must be held. The road may be narrow. Other travelers may be blocked. The repair is not an appointment. It is an event. Modern comfort lets breakdown become a service call. Before modern comfort, breakdown made the journey gather around one damaged object. The 59th comfort was paying for the night. A modern traveler usually knows the price before arriving. Booking platforms, posted rates, cards, receipts, cancellation policies, and reviews all soften the transaction. Before modern comfort, paying for lodging could be more uncertain. The cost of a bed, space by the fire, food, drink, fodder, stable room, and service might depend on place, season, crowding, status, negotiation, and local custom. A poor traveler might need charity. A merchant might pay for animals and goods as much as for his own body. A noble household might require large arrangements. The night had a price because shelter was not only a room. It was heat, security, food, water, stabling, information, and permission to stop. Imagine counting coins after supper in an inn. The body is tired, but the journey is still spending itself. Every night away from home eats into the purse. Delay becomes expensive. Bad weather becomes expensive. A lame horse becomes expensive. Modern comfort turns lodging into a product. Before modern comfort, lodging was a temporary agreement between vulnerability and price. The 60th comfort was crossing borders that were not yet modern borders. Modern travelers think of borders as passport lines, customs desks, visas, and national territory. The medieval traveler often met smaller and more frequent forms of boundary. A lordship. A town jurisdiction. A toll point. A bridge right. A forest law. A market privilege. A language zone. A parish. A diocese. A kingdom. A city gate. These boundaries could change rights, payments, protection, language, coinage, measures, and expectations. The traveler did not only move through space. The traveler moved through layers of authority. Imagine entering a new jurisdiction. The road may look similar. The fields may look similar. But the rules may no longer be the same. Who owns this road? Who collects here? Who protects here? Who judges here? Who may sell here? Modern comfort tries to make boundaries visible and bureaucratic. Before modern comfort, boundaries could be felt through demands, customs, and uncertainty. The 61st comfort was arrival with the body intact. This sounds almost too simple. But every old journey ended first in the body. Are the feet sound? Are the clothes dry? Is the animal healthy? Is the purse still there? Is the message safe? Is the food gone? Is the traveler feverish? Has the road changed the person? Modern arrival often begins with logistics. Baggage claim. Check-in. Taxi. Messages. Before modern comfort, Arrival could begin with inspection. Sit down. Wash feet. Dry clothing. Check the animal. Count money. Find food. Secure the goods. Tell what happened. The destination was not fully reached until the traveler had been restored enough to function there. Imagine reaching a town after days on foot. The place is real now. But the body arrives before the mind catches up. Feet ache. Shoulders loosen. Hunger becomes loud. The road is over, yet the road remains in every muscle. Modern comfort helps arrival erase the journey. Before modern comfort, the journey stayed written on the traveler. So the next time you open a map app, think about the old fork in the road. The next time you cross a bridge without slowing, think about the river that once made travelers wait. The next time your bag rolls smoothly behind you, think about a bundle pressing into a shoulder. The next time a hotel key opens a private room, think about a shared bed in a noisy inn. The next time a train delay irritates you, think about a road turned to mud by rain. The next time you drink water at a station, think about a traveler judging a stream. The next time you send a message saying you are 10 minutes late, think about news that once had to cross the world in a person's hands. Modern travel is not comfortable because movement became easy. It is comfortable because countless old travel problems have been broken into systems. Road crews, bridge engineers, maps, hotels, public lighting, vehicle repair, weather forecasts, food networks, toilets, police, schedules, luggage design, payment systems, digital messages. The old road has not disappeared. It is buried under asphalt, timetables, signs, engines, and trust. Before modern comfort, travel was the art of exposing the body carefully. Step by step. Mile by mile. Question by question. Where is the road? Where is the water? Where is the bridge? Where is the bed? Where is the food? Who can be trusted? How much daylight remains? Will the animal last? Will the body? That was travel before modern comfort. Not simply going somewhere. Becoming vulnerable in motion, and hoping the world had enough roads, doors, bridges, fires, strangers, and mercy to let you arrive.